Welcome back to the UFC Pros Pick Show. I am James Lynch. He is James Krause, and replacing Nick Kalikas is Julian Marquez, UFC middleweight, joining us here on the show. Julian, how's it going, man?
Man, living a dream. Excited for the fights this weekend. Excited for everything that's going on this weekend. So pretty good, man.
Yeah, we got a stack card, UFC 268 going down at Madison Square Garden in New York. Again, Nick Kalikas off this week. Check him out on UFC On the Line, which is on UFC Fight Pass and everywhere else. So shout out to Nick. He should be back next week, but we'll see what happens. But Julian's a natural fit for this. Great when it comes to analyzing fights and all that. And before we get into the fights, we got to mention our promo code, BetDSI. Use the promo code UFC to get a match deposit bonus. Take advantage of this opportunity while you're watching the show. You know you're betting the fights anyway, so why not get a little bit of extra incentive to sign up for BetDSI. Our bets last week, Krause, let's talk about that. Both of our bets of the week hit. My fight goes the distance prop and the Alexander Volkov parlay hit last week. Both of your bets, Duraev and Volkov, hit as well. So looking pretty good going into this week. How you feeling?
This week is I actually really like my plays this week. And it's a fun card too. There's a lot. When I initially looked at it, I was kind of scared, but like I like it a lot now that I start to break down, started watching video and stuff. There's a lot this weekend. There's LFA, there's Bellator, there's UFC. A lot to bet on this weekend if you're an MMA fan.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, I got to give Krause some credit here. He's in Ireland right now for James Gallagher's fight. So the fact he's, making the dedication of doing the show every week, you got to know this guy's an Iron Man when it comes to doing the show. So props to Krause for doing that. But let's get into the main usman. It is the rematch between Kamaru Usman and Colby Covington. Usman defending his title. Usman minus 333 on BetDSI. The comeback on Colby Covington plus 260. Before we get your picks, that is Julian and James and myself, let's hear from some other fighters, including Alexander Volkanovski, Anthony Smith, and Corey Sandhagen, getting their picks for this fight.
Usman. I'll go with Usman.
Usman. He's by far grown the most between those two. He's been busier. Especially now since he's been here in Colorado with Trevor Whitman. His whole swag is different. The way he moves is different. He's seemingly has like a plan now. He's setting traps and he's calm in there. He's not as uncomfortable on his feet. I think that he's gotten significantly better since the first time they fought in his last couple fights, and you can't even say that about Colby because he's only fought one time. So I think Usman's going to blow him out of the water.
Yeah, I got Usman winning that one also. Still a really tough fight. I think that there's going to be a lot more wrestling maybe in this one. I don't really know, but it's hard to bet against Usman, man. He's just like such a good competitor. And in his last fights, he's shown that he's just like grown a tremendous amount in his striking too.
So there you have it, guys. All those fighters picking Kamaru Usman in this fight. Are you guys leaning the same way here? We'll start with you first, Julian. Who are you picking in Saturday's main event?
Man, it's so hard not to go against Kamaru, man. He's just improving every fight. His power and knockouts increasing. We already know his grappling's there. And, I mean, we haven't really seen a whole lot from him since his last fight with Tyron. And even then, he was putting hands on him, but he was mainly aiming for the wrestling. But if you watched whenever Kamaru fought him, he was smoking him out. He was throwing heavy punches and he was attacking and he was looking for the finish everywhere he could. The same thing when he fought Jorge Masvidal. He caught him with that 3-2, that beautiful just right hand that put him to sleep. Like, he's just getting better and better. And I think that change from, Stanford's up to Trevor Whitman has really just evolved his game. And Covington, man, I don't think he's increasing as fast and becoming that next level, or is going to be that guy to take him out. So I'm going to have to stick with Kamaru on this one.
Krause, are you going to complete the hat trick here, as we say in hockey?
Yeah, but I'm going to give you an asterisk, though. So I'm picking Colby Covington to win by decision. I wouldn't be surprised if he TKOs him, though. But here's the play. I think there's a better play for this. The play that you go here is you're going to take Usman straight up. So let's just play devil's advocate here. If Colby wins, how is he going to beat Usman? If he
Probably
wins,
a decision. He doesn't finish a lot of his opponents. I would think decision.
Perfect. So the way you play this is you're going to take Kamaru Usman straight up at minus 333 or whatever, because I mean, Julian just hit it right on the head. The dude's getting better. And I'll say this. I don't want to say that I'm an Usman fan. Like, I'm indifferent on him. But I will recognize that this dude is visually probably the only champion that gets better every single, like you can visually see him get better from this fight to the next fight. You know what I mean? Like there's a visual representation of him getting better every single fight. And that showed in the Masvidal fight where, you know, he finished a guy that doesn't get finished, you know? So, but the play is you go Usman straight up. If you want to sprinkle a little bit on Usman by decision or even Usman by TKO, feel free to do that. But you hedge the other side, and you're going to bet Colby by decision. The odds that you'll get on that, you're basically creating a hedge where I don't want to say it's impossible to lose, but what are the odds of Colby knocking out or subbing Usman? It's very slim. So my guess is, I don't know this, and I don't know if you have this information, James, but like I'm guessing that Colby by decision is going to be plus 500 or bigger. So what you'll be able to do when you get that is you'll create a hedge where it's damn near impossible to lose money, right? You'll go Usman straight up because we all think he's going to win, right? Because he's improved so much, he looks great. But if he does lose, it's going to be by decision 9 times out of 10. So you hedge that. The odds that you'll get will create this middle ground to where it's really, really difficult to lose money.
You're 100% right, by the way. I just looked at the odds, the prop bet for Colby by decision. You're right. It's around plus 500 in a lot of cases. So, yeah, keep that in mind. And I love that play. I think that's very interesting. A couple of things about this main event that I want to point out a little bit. We have seen the improvements in Usman, but who's to say Colby hasn't improved? Just because he hasn't been in the cage, you know, that's one thing to sort of keep in mind as well, because he's not a guy who's sitting on the couch. He's in there improving every single time he's going to a training session. I want to warn people because it's very easy to just say Usman's improved, Colby hasn't. But again, he was not at MMA Masters in that first fight. He is now. It's more of a focused camp on him. There's no distractions there, no teammates not liking him. I think that's going to play a little bit of a role. And the other thing I got to point out is that while Usman has looked impressive and finishing Masvidal is certainly a feat, do you think Masvidal beats Colby Covington? I don't. So in some ways, those wins I think are a little inflated a little bit. I think the Gilbert Burns win is absolutely one you can hang your hat on for sure. But I just want to warn people because I think, you know, I am picking Usman here. I'm just sort of putting this as a, you know, sort of a warning here that Colby could surprise here. You know, I think of the Brian Ortega and Korean Zombie fight.
Well, it was 2-2 going into round 5, in my opinion.
It was. And a lot of people feel that way as well because, or I should say a lot of people don't, because people don't like Colby. So they kind of have revisionist history about that first fight where they think Usman dominated the whole fight. So I'm just kind of putting that out there as some other sort of context as well, because I don't think it's necessarily a slam dunk win here for Usman, but I am going to pick him. I think he gets a decision, but I just, like James said, there could be some creative ways in terms of just in case Usman doesn't get it done here, you could maybe go the hedge like he was mentioning. Were you going to say something, Kress?
Yeah, I mean, I think Usman's going to win, but I don't think the line's right. And that's why I say we got to hedge the other way, because like typically I wouldn't hedge just because I think so-and-so is going to win, right? Like when I'll tell you, like when I get my play of the week, I think this guy's going to win. I'm not hedging the other side. This is one where like you can almost guarantee yourself a profit here, because we're going to take Usman, right? And we don't know what we don't know. We're assuming Colby's getting better, but he's been so inactive. I think Usman's fought like 3 or 4 times.
3 times,
since Colby fought. So we don't know what we don't know. We only go off of what we see under the lights. And what we see under the lights is a clear-cut visual representation of Usman getting better every single time out. But like you said, James, Colby's not sitting on the couch. So I'm hedging the other side just in case.
There you go. Yeah.
You have the value. You're betting on the value. You're not betting on the fight itself, because we all have the same belief that Usman's going to win. But since we don't know what Colby can do and what he's done with MMA Masters, we're still all trying to figure it out. But the value, do you think the line's going to be like way closer? You think it should be like what, a minus 110, minus 120 type value?
No,
I don't.
No.
I think 2-1. I think 2-1 would be closer, just because again, Colby had such a close fight the first time. Yeah, even 250. Yeah,
even up to 250, but 300. I thought it would be at 300 again, but now we're starting to creep on 350, which I think is like, you guys are, dude. You can't tell me like if there's 4 rounds and they went even money on 4 rounds, and round 5 was close. Round 5 was close until what happened. You know what I mean? Like that's a coin flip fight, and you're telling me this guy's gonna win like 80-something% of the time? No way. Like no way. Take Usman. I'm telling you guys, this is the only play. Usman straight up, hedge Colby by decision. That's your play. I'm just telling you.
Are you taking when you're doing this bet? Are you line up? So say like you do $100. We're putting $100. So we're gonna put $300, $330 to win on Usman, and then we're gonna do $100 to win on decision by Colby, or are you doing a quarter like
because you wash at that point, right? You wash at that point because so you would if we're talking about $100, you're talking about 333 essentially wins 100. So you don't want to bet 100 on the other side because then it's going to be a wash. So what you'll do is you'll make up the 100, so it's plus 500. So you need to put like what? $20. You'll need to put $20. So you'll almost guarantee yourself a profit of $80 if you play that.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah, there's calculators out there, by the way, everyone. I never did well in math in school, so I'll probably be relying on one of those when looking at that bet. Co-main event, we got to get into it. Another rematch. It is Weili Zhang taking on the champ Rose Namajunas. And get this, guys, right now the challenger Weili Zhang minus 119. The comeback on Rose Namajunas plus 103 on BetDSI. Before we get into your picks, let's hear from some other fighters as well. Mackenzie Dern, Amanda Ribas, and Marina Rodriguez getting their picks on this fight.
I think we'll go longer than how long it went this one, but I think that Rose will win. You know, the last one I thought that Zhang Weili would win. And man, Rose just like proves me wrong and maybe a lot of people wrong. I don't know. But yeah, I think that Rose will win again. You know, I saw just even with her fight with Jessica Batistaca, you know, the second one was like a full out war for the second fight. So I think that even though Zhang Weili, I think she's going to come like maybe more focus, I guess. I think that Rose is gonna have like all the answers for her.
I think it will be a good fight for Rose and for Weili.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying good advice for Rose because I like her style. Nothing wrong about the Weili, but I liked Rose, so I think she will win.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you think Rose will win that fight? How do you think Rose wins the rematch?
Maybe for knockout again.
Okay.
Or for points.
I believe Rose will win again, and if she doesn't, the division will be once again stuck. If you look at the past 4 years, it's been the same 4 people fighting for the belt. The division has many talented people, and there are many that deserve to be in the title conversation.
And there you have it. All the fighters picking Rose Namajunas. Very interesting here. Curious to hear what you guys think, because again, the line on this one very close. Julian, we'll start with you again. Who are you picking in the co-main event?
Man, I think this is actually a really tough fight. I think that Weili in the first fight kind of underestimated Rose and got caught with that beautiful quick like switch to the head, and it took her out. That kick took her out. Honestly, to me, you know, I think Rose she's a dog. She hits hard. She's able to move and she's there putting the pressure. But I think I'm going to have to give the edge to Weili. I think Weili is going to come back more prepared, more of a fire, and more like ready to get the belt back. You know, I think that whenever you start winning after a while, you kind of just get complacent thinking that you're going to be able to walk through people. And I think that's what she did to Rose. She was all thinking extra stuff, and then she ended up getting knocked out, you know, and it caught her off guard. She didn't believe that she did. I think this one's going to be a lot tougher fight. I think we're going to go to a decision on this one.
Kraus, do you agree?
I actually agree with everything, the result of what he said. I don't think Weili like took her lightly by any means. Rose is good. And I'll be honest, man, like I fade Rose kind of, and I can't tell you why. I think it's because confidence issues, maybe. I don't know. I can't tell you why. 'Cause she's obviously so skilled, right? She's so skilled, but I naturally want to lean. I think one of my knocks against Rose is she's not overly physical. She's a very good rangy striker. If I'm Weili, I get my hands on her early and just spin around, just keeping her here, you know what I mean, to where the danger factor is less. I'm going to take Weili by decision. I can't really tell you why. I don't have you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I don't have a
feeling.
good decision. I think Weili's going to come out and fight a slightly smarter fight. And I think she's going to be a little more physical, playing the clinch a little bit more. I don't know. There's nothing that's led me to believe this. I'm just saying if I'm Weili's team, this is what I do. I got to think that they're going to change some things up. They have to. Like, you can't strike. She's not.
Well,
gonna
she's
strike
training
the
with
range
Cejudo, right? She's training at Fight Ready for this camp with Captain Eric. So that is something that's different for this camp, is that she's not training at a usual camp. So we'll see if that pays dividends in that fight as well. But guys, I'm going the other way here. I like Rose a lot in this fight. I can't believe she's an underdog. She's the current champion. There's this theory out there that the first fight was a fluke. I don't agree with that. I think that Rose is very good. You even go back and look at that Jessica Andrade fight, the first fight that she lost. That was a fight she was winning, and she just happened to get slammed in the second round and got knocked out. I don't want to call it a fluke, but I think Rose proved that she was the better fighter in the rematch, because she took a pretty tough punch from Andrade in that rematch and was still able to defeat her. So to me, I think this is a case of people overlooking Rose. I think that, I don't think the first fight was a fluke. I think Rose is the better fighter, and I think she's going to go out there and just put a close to this thing. And here's the other thing, guys. Like, if Zhang loses this fight, she's going to be in a really tough spot, because she would have already lost twice to the current champ. Where do you go from here? She's going to be stuck like Joanna Jędrzejczyk is, where she can't get a title shot because she's already lost twice to the champ. So there's a lot of pressure on Weili Zhang as well from that, that standpoint as well. And I'll use one more quick thing that just sort of add to my argument here. I hate using MMA math, but I'm going to use it here. Rose decisively beat Joanna Jędrzejczyk twice. Weili Zhang fought Joanna Jędrzejczyk, and it was a much closer fight. In fact, some people thought that Joanna won that fight. I'm not one of them, but the fact that he was even that close, I think Rose is shown as a common opponent that she's done a much better job against Joanna in those fights. So I'm going to go Rose Namajunas by decision this time, but I think she's going to prove once again why she's the best strawweight in the world. So that's my pick.
You say that, and I'm like, you tell me that, and I'm like, yeah, no, that makes sense. That's what I'm saying. Like, I can't tell you why.
No, don't get swayed though. Don't get swayed for me. You're the UFC fighter here, so there you go.
I'm just saying, I'm picking Weili, but I can't tell you why. Like, for whatever reason,
go with your gut, Kraus. Go with your gut.
I don't know why. She's like one of the only ones I can't tell you why.
Let's get to our prop bet of the week. We'll start with you, Kraus. Who you like in prop bet wise, or what's a prop that you like for UFC 268?
There's quite a few, but gosh, I want to give you two, kind of.
Let's hear
it. I like them both equally, and I'm going to pick the other one because the other one's correlated with my play of the week. Volante, Chris Barnett, over 1.5 rounds. That started out as a pick'em. I don't know what it's at now, but it was at a pick'em a few days ago. I don't see how, I don't think either one of these guys are finishing the other. Like, Volante is super durable. The problem is he doesn't put out a ton of volume. So you're telling me a super durable guy is going to get knocked out in a round and a half, or he's going to knock somebody out in a round and a half? I just don't see it. I don't, I look at Volante alone. He hardly ever gets finished, and his volume's so low to where it's like he can't. You know what I mean? Like, he's not knocking a lot of people out either. Barnett is durable as well. I just don't see it. Over 1.5 rounds, I really like that one. My second one, and I don't know the line on that. It was a pick'em. I think it jumped. If I remember seeing it today, it was like -160. Like, it jumped,
which isn't bad.
But it was a pick'em a couple days ago. The other one, and I don't know the line on this. I don't need to know the line on it. I would just parlay this with another pick that you really like. Bobby Green, Al Quinta, over 2.5 rounds, or goes the distance. I don't see either one of these guys finishing the other. Both these guys are durable as holy shit, and that's going to be a fun fight, which also is going to lead me into my play of the week, which we'll get to that in a second.
There you go. That's a teaser, what we call in this business. My prop bet of the week is something similar. I'm looking at the Frankie Edgar and Chito Vera fight, and I like the fight goes the distance prop in that one. -156. Yes, Edgar got finished by Sandhagen. Chito Vera, love the guy, super entertaining fighter. He's not Corey Sandhagen when it comes to finishing. He has early finishes, but I don't think Edgar's the type of guy to get finished by a guy like Chito Vera. Edgar's losing the guys like Sandhagen, getting finished by Korean Zombie, by Brian Ortega. These are high-level guys, and Chito I don't think is at that level yet. It's only 3 rounds, so less chance of seeing a finish in that fight. I think there's some value on Edgar, to be honest, in that fight, because he's the underdog right now, but that's, we'll talk about that a little bit later. But I think just to play it safe, I don't think we'll see a finish in that one. It's -156 right now. If you want to get even better value, sort of parlay what Kraus said there, maybe parlay that with the fight goes the decision with Iaquinta and Bobby Green as well, because that's another one. Green hasn't been finishing forever. Same thing with Iaquinta. I would look at that as a potential play as well.
Are we talking about Vera Edgar at some point?
Yeah, I'm sure we can talk about it. We can talk about it now if you want to, and then we'll get to our bet of the week.
I was just gonna say it's another great example of how you hedge, right? So once again, if Frankie wins that fight, how's he win?
Probably a decision.
By decision, right? So you go Chito Vera straight up, and then you hedge Frankie by decision on the other end. And it's like, I'm telling you, like, it's just it's almost guaranteed money in there at some point. I don't know the line on Frankie by decision. I'm guessing it'll probably be plus 400, plus 500, somewhere in there. Maybe not quite as much because the odds aren't as swayed, but like you're setting yourself up for success. That's how successful bettors play. I'm just telling you, like that's another great example of hedging the other side just to secure your money.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. Let's get to our bet of the week. Julian, do you have a bet of the week on this card? There's some fights we haven't talked about. Maybe there's ones we have talked about that you like. Is there a play you like as far as the bet of the week?
Man, in all honesty, been looking at the card. One of my favorite plays, in all honesty, is going to be Shane Burgos. I've been looking at him. I think him and going over. I think it's going to go to Burgos by decision. I guess would be a prop bet, but I do feel like it's going to be a 3-rounder. It's going to be to a decision, but I have Shane getting that.
Yeah, I really like that play. I picked Shane Burgos as well. Kind of the way I described Burgos and Quarantillo, and maybe you guys will agree or disagree here, but I think Burgos is just a little bit further ahead in terms of its development and in terms of his striking and the level of opposition. I think Shane's fought a lot tougher guys than Billy Q has, and I think it's going to be a barn burner, but I'm with you there. Maybe you get some decent money on Burgos by decision, but I like that play a lot. Kraus, what do you like for your bet of the week?
I like Bobby Green. Or you can even go Bobby Green by decision. I like both of those a ton. I just think that he's with Al, and it's not even – I like Al. I think Al is really good. I think he's actually pretty underrated, to be honest with you guys. I think stylistically Bobby Green just matches up really well with him. The thing that I worry about with Al is the inactivity, his time off, injuries. Like, that stuff adds up after a while. Bobby is one of the most active guys on the roster. He fights all the time, and he fights the tough guys. I mean, he just came off of a very close loss to Rafael Fiziev, who is incredible, who I rate very high. Both these guys are extremely durable. I see this fight going the distance. You can go green by decision. I like that play a lot. You can take green straight up. And you can also play with the other parlay. I really like, I'll be honest with you guys, everything that we've said on this show today, I really, really love. You can mix and match round robin, any of these parlays that you want. I really like all these plays this week.
My bet of the week kind of revealed it there earlier, but I like Rose Namajunas at the plus money. I'm definitely going to go in on her. Another bet I like, I'll just kind of add as a side note, is I also like Frankie Edgar as an underdog as well. These are two fighters I think that, people have been overlooking for a while. Again, I know, in Rose's case, some people feel like that first fight was a fluke. I disagree. I think if you can get the champ at plus money, that doesn't happen too often. If you look at sort of betting lines throughout, the years, you don't see the champ as an underdog. I'll take advantage of that. And again, like I mentioned the points earlier, why I think Rose is going to win. And for Edgar, I think it's just a case of Chito Vera has an issue when it comes to getting that step up. We saw it in the Aldo fight. We've seen it in other fights where, Vera can get good wins, but when he gets that step up, he tends to falter. And I think Edgar's still that. I know Edgar's 40, and I know you're looking at that and you're thinking, maybe is this the decline? But, we're a couple fights removed from him beating Pedro Munoz. That's a really good win. I think Edgar's still got enough gas left in the tank. And I don't think Vera's going to go out there and finish him. So I think it likely goes to the decision, which is why I mentioned the going to decision thing as well. But you might want to look as well at Edgar with the plus money right now, especially that it's in New York. I mean, he's from New Jersey. Crowd's going to be on his side on that one. So there we go. All right, let's wrap up the show, everyone. Again, take advantage of the promo code UFC when you're signing up at BetDSI. Julian, thank you so much for doing this, man. Always a pleasure. Anything you want to plug before you get out of here, we'll give you the floor.
No, man, you guys need to follow Kraus and follow James and make sure you play these plays because they will make you money, make you happy. And I can tell you, I'm ready for this weekend.
There you go. Checks in the mail, Julian. Kraus, you're cornering James Gallagher. Thanks again for doing this. I know it's a crazy time over there. Anything you got to mention before we get out of here?
Nah, man, we're all good. Let's get that money. Let's get that money.
Let's get that money.
Hey, listen, if you guys are making money on my picks, I really enjoy it. Message me, whatever. I really enjoy helping other people out. So it's good.
Just
and last thing,
tag him in a story so he can reshare it. He needs more content. So just let everybody know.
There you go. And make sure you hit the like button on this video, hit the subscribe button. We are doing the show every single week. Hopefully Nick will be back next week. If not, we'll get you a great guest just like we had this week here with Julian Marquez. For myself, James Lynch, James Kraus, and Julian Marquez, hope you guys win your bets this Saturday, UFC 268. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, I'll go with Usman. I'll go with Usman, even though it's going to be a tough fight. Covington's had a long time off. He's had a lot of time to think about that first fight. So he's going to make some adjustments, but I think Usman still has the upper edge on that.
Well, the fact, we haven't seen Colby Covington since his fight with Tyron Woodley, and that's been a while.
but we have seen the improvement, the tremendous improvement in Kamaru Usman. We know he's a phenomenal wrestler. He's got a gas tank, but now he's finishing guys. He just knocked out one of the best strikers in the welterweight division, George Masvidal, and he's putting people to sleep. He put, Gilbert Burns to sleep with the jab. So he's improving everywhere, not just his wrestling, but his striking as well. I think I got Kamaru Usman. Kamaru Usman is going to put it on Colby Covington. Put it on him. His striking is better than the last time they fought. He's a very big welterweight. He's a very strong welterweight, and I think it's going to go the same way it did last time, but in shorter time. Their wrestling is going to They're going to neutralize the wrestling. Both of them. They're going to keep the fight standing, and Kamaru is going to put him to sleep.
Usman is, he's a beast, so
okay,
he's going to win the fight.